For those of you who don't know me, I'm Suzette Newberry, and I'm a librarian at Cornell, and I have been working with Wikipedia since 2008, I think, 2007 or 2008. And I have been working especially on the Art and Feminism project for the past, well, we've done it 5 times now. So it's been a while. It's been a while. And I'm really super pleased to be working on this project that Julia has organized and is making into an international effort to improve information in Wikipedia, which, as you know, is an international resource about people in academia who are people of color, and to make sure that information is available to as wide a spectrum as possible. Julia, do you want to say anything?
I just want to say that I would never have started this if Suzette had not supported me with my class, which had Wikipedia editing projects last fall. So that's how this all even started popping into my mind when I read about the strike for Black Lives and the ShutDownAcademia effort for tomorrow. So that's why I felt like we could have the tools. And when I emailed Suzette, she jumped on immediately, said she could do a tutorial and help out, and she has been helping out a lot. So thank you, Suzette, and thank you everyone who's volunteering for this. I really appreciate you jumping on this so spontaneously. This is really wonderful. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
All right, great. And Marcia and Wendy have both been really super active in Wikipedia edit-a-thons also. So they're waving. So please, any of you, feel free to jump in and make additions to what I'm saying, because Wikipedia is really a community effort, and everybody helps, everybody chips in, and so we're here to support you, and we're going to get you started today, and hopefully everyone's had a chance to get a Wikipedia ID. And what I'm going to do is ask for you to put your Wikipedia ID in the Zoom chat. Just paste it into the Zoom chat as a first step. And great, awesome. What that's going to do is it's going to allow Julia to add you to the program page for the edit-a-thon. And what will happen is that every edit that you make in Wikipedia will show up in the metrics, in the counts for the program. So it's all very well coordinated. And it will be a nice way of demonstrating how your efforts are contributing to international totals. So, so thank you. Everyone's getting your IDs in there. Okay, so now I am going to start sharing my screen. And okay, hang on. And I'm going to start, not there, excuse me, sorry. I'm going to just start by talking a little bit about Wikipedia in the general sense, and talk about what our project is now. I do want to make it clear that this session is being recorded, and that's so that we can offer this tutorial to other people who weren't able to join us at this time. I put this link. I can also copy it and, oops, sorry. I can also put it in the chat window so that you can have a chance to visit the program page. I'll do that a little later on. there are lots and lots of resources that are on the program page. This is not in Wikipedia proper, but it's in a site that's connected with Wikipedia. And again, Julia is going to add each of you to the program, so you don't need to worry about that right now. The program is live, so anything that you edit from now on will count for the next week. So that's up and running, which is exciting because the edits are already showing. Oops, sorry. Let me get you. We're gonna. Sorry. We are going to. I'm showing you the program page right now. This is where you all the edits are going to be appearing.
We
yeah?
cannot see the program page because I think you've shared that frame specifically.
So what I need to do is stop share and then start a different share. Thank you very much for letting me know. And this is here. Can you see that now? Yeah, okay. So this is the program page. And as you can see, just in the couple of hours that editing has been live, there have already been a number of edits made. You can see 68 people have already signed up, and I expect that number will go higher throughout the day. And then tomorrow, when most of the edits will be made, that number of editors will be even higher, and then you'll see the number of words added, the number of articles added, the number of articles created will go even higher. Okay, so we're gonna do a new share. Okay, I'm gonna get good at this and go back here. Okay, so let's continue here. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be editing existing articles about specific people, and we have lots of suggestions for articles that you might be interested in editing. The emphasis is on people who are in STEM, but it's not limited to that area. You can also edit articles about issues. So maybe a particular conference or an intellectual idea that has been written about. So you can write about those or edit the articles that are already there. You can also create new articles. So there is a caveat about that, and that is that if you are a brand new editor, you are prevented by Wikipedia from creating a new article until you have been an editor for 4 days and have edited at least 10 times. So in order to create a new article, it'll be a couple of days if you're just beginning before you can write a new article, but you could probably do that towards the end of the week. Other Wikipedians who are reviewing new articles are a little bit skeptical about new editors creating new articles. I'm going to warn you about that. So it's probably best if you're brand new to focus your work in Wikipedia on editing existing articles. And there are plenty of those that need work. And then the other thing that you can do, we're not going to cover Wikidata today, but you could also translate an article. So if you have language skills, you could translate an article either from English to another language or from another language into English. Those are all really great things to do. So let's just go over very quickly a couple of the let's call it sort of etiquette or protocol issues that are really, really important to keep in mind about Wikipedia before you engage in any kind of editing. And if you have any questions, please either use the raise hand function or put them in the chat, or unmute yourself and just ask them and interrupt me as we go along. The Wikipedia goes by a sort of principle it likes to call its 5 pillars. And this, the main rule is that there are no rules. You'll see number 5 is Wikipedia has no firm rules. This is largely true. They're mostly guidelines. They like to talk about guidelines, but try to keep in mind that Wikipedia is first and foremost an encyclopedia. And when writing for Wikipedia, you need to keep a very level, even point of view and tone. So it's very different from usual academic writing. You are definitely not expressing an opinion. You've got to be as neutral as possible. And you have really got to present tertiary content. So definitely cannot be presenting, can't be using it as a platform in any way. And if you, it's called, they refer to it as NPOV, neutral point of view. If anyone who is another Wikipedia editor gets any feeling that you are violating that, they will take down your edits immediately. So it's extremely important to keep in mind. Number 3, Wikipedia is free content that anyone can use, edit, and distribute. So number 3 is often the most difficult thing for people in academia to really understand and take to heart. And that's because you're used to being an author. You're used to taking responsibility and owning what you write. But with Wikipedia, you have to take it for granted that what you put out there is going to be edited, that other people are going to take your content and they'll edit it mercilessly. So whatever you put there is going to change. So don't take offense, and just realize that you are putting information out into the world and is just information. And for that reason, you treat other people with respect and civility because you want them to treat you with respect and civility. So that when someone else edits what you do, you just have to take it for granted that what they are doing is for the good of the information and clarity, and that they don't have some other agenda in mind. Okay, so is that fairly clear? That's a general protocol overview. So let's go ahead and get started with a tutorial. So I'm going to ask all of you to please bring up Wikipedia and log in using your Wikipedia IDs. So I am going to do the same, although you won't be able to see it. I'm going to go to my own, yeah, okay. All right, so has everyone been able to log in? Okay, so after you've logged in, the first thing I want everyone to do, and I'm going to show you my Wikipedia screen, and this is what mine looks like. What I'm going to do is ask everyone to go to your preferences screen, and what I want you to end up with, and I'll show you how to get there, don't worry, is it needs to say, when you're looking at an article, it needs to say read, edit, edit source and view history. So you need to have two things there. And the way that you get there is by going to your preferences. And I have a new message, oh my. Okay, go to your preferences, and then when you scroll down, before you scroll down, you need to go to editing. And then when you scroll down under editing mode, it needs to say, it's the last choice, show me both editor tabs. This is really important. Before we go any further, just make sure that those things, and then you save. Mine won't save because it was already there. And then when you go back to the page you were looking at, which for me, I was looking at Skip Gates's page, then you should see these two tabs. You may need to reload your page. And is anyone having a problem with that? And while I'm in screen sharing mode, I'm having trouble seeing the other stuff. Let me actually.
So there's nothing in general chat,
okay.
At least.
Okay, great.
I'll let you know.
Okay, thanks. All right. So let's look now at, and you're seeing my Wikipedia page on Skip Gates, right? Okay, so let's look across at the elements of a Wikipedia page. We have, you've used Wikipedia a ton of times, you're used to seeing it, you're used to reading it. Let's look a little bit closer at what constitutes a Wikipedia page. So here we've got the article and the title, but then across the top we have the talk page, then we have the read, then we have the edit and view history. Let's look at the talk page first. So in the talk page, this is super, super important for understanding the activity that happens related to all of the editing. The first thing you see usually is this box, and the box will give you what the rating is and which projects in Wikipedia have adopted this page. So Skip Gates obviously is a very, very notable public figure. There are lots of, probably lots of people who are interested in writing about him. So here we've got this wiki project biography, and the subsection on science and academia has actually adopted this page and has given it a rating. So the rating is important because if you're looking for pages that you want to edit for this project, you probably want to work on pages that don't have a very high rating because they need more work. So C class is actually pretty high up on the rating scale. If you see something that's a stub or a start class, those need help. And B class needs help. But C and above, and that could mean very good or good article, those are probably in pretty good shape. Obviously, you know, you don't really associate him with Massachusetts, even though he's a Harvard professor. So you can understand why he's not very high importance to Massachusetts, but the other projects, he's very important. So that's where he's been rated. And then you get to all of the talk, and the talk is really about what's going on in the article. So if there are any disputes, if there's any discussion about how the information is arranged, if there's any discussion, any arguments, and boy, are there arguments here. I mean, looking through this, there is, look, NPOV, neutral point of view. There is questioning of a neutral point of view. There's a lot of of discussion here. But notice every time there's any kind of discussion at the end of the paragraph, someone has signed it with the time and date. So there is, whoever's written there has actually put their username and put a date stamp in. And that is just a very cordial way of having a debate. And so this goes on and on. In fact, there's so much of this that they had to archive some of it. And see, they've done an archiving. So this is an example of a talk page. If you thought you might have a conflict of interest, you would put something on the talk page and say, listen, I know this person is related to my place of work, but I'm just letting you know that I do work here, but I don't think there's a conflict of interest. You know, you can do things like that on the top. You can also, aside from the talk page, you can look at the history. And the history lets you see how many edits have been made. And this is really interesting. There were 2 edits made in March, but there hadn't been anything edited for 2 years prior. So there's not been a lot of recent activity on this page. And that kind of helps you to understand if there's been some news in the last 3 years. You could think about updating some of that. You can also go back to previous versions, and these are all part of the wiki software. And then you can always go back to the article and look at the various sections. This is a table of contents that gets automatically generated. And it's automatically generated when you put in various style headings. I'll show you that when we go into to edit it. I won't actually edit it, but I'll show you. And there's also something here called an info box that has a picture and some pieces of information. So that requires some coding, which is a little bit more advanced. So we're not going to get into that today, but if one already exists, it's pretty easy to edit. You know what, Julia, I will put a link to, in fact, I think you've already got a link to help with creating info boxes on the program page. Okay, so in addition to all of the information here, that is formatted in terms of text rather than in terms of lists, which is great. There's also at the very bottom of the page, well, there's a list, but there's also a bibliography. There is a list of references, which is generated automatically. And at the very, very end, the external links, and then categories. So adding categories is a great thing that you can do for part of the edit-a-thon. Adding external links, also a great thing to do. Okay, so I just wanted to give you sort of the lay of the land. And now, now that you're logged in, I want you to look at the top of your page and see your username should appear at the top. So does everyone's username appear? So for some of you, it should appear in red. Is that true? If your name appears in red, in fact, for everyone, why don't you click on your name? If your name appears in red, you will be prompted to create a new page. This will be your user page. So I already have a user page, but you are now going to start your first Wikipedia page by creating your own Wikipedia page. And it's going to be a page about you. So, how's everyone doing? It should say read, edit, edit source. And what you should do is you can put just a simple sentence, and it should have, it doesn't need to be very revelatory or anything. It can be very simple, but it should probably say what your institutional affiliation is and what your general project is. So here, what I'm going to do is I am going to say, I'm going to edit my about section, and I'm going to say, I am participating in the edit Wikipedia for Black Lives edit-a-thon in June 2020. And then I'm going to go here, copy the URL, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to create a link. And I'm going to make that into an external site. And that will be an external link connection there. That was pretty easy. And then I'm going to, mine is extensive, but yours does not have to be extensive. It can be very it can just be one sentence. You don't have to reveal your gender. You don't have to reveal your profession. You don't have to reveal much, but if you have an institutional affiliation, you really should reveal it so that you're not violating the conflict of interest rule. And then when you're done, you can publish the changes. And when you're asked to publish the changes, you usually give an edit summary. So I will do added okay. You can always preview before you finalize the changes. So once you publish, you should notice that your name turned from red to blue. And in Wikipedia, red links are links that go to pages that don't exist. And it's sort of an invitation for you to create a new page. They always want new content. So Wikipedia is asking you whether or not you want to create a new page. And in this case, you were just invited to create a new page about yourself. So once you have a user page, that gives you additional credibility in Wikipedia, because it's actually telling people who you are generally and what your reason for being in Wikipedia is. In general, other Wikipedia editors do not like it when someone comes in from outside of Wikipedia, makes edits in Wikipedia, and has no connections with Wikipedia at all. So once you are declaring who you are generally and that you have an interest in Wikipedia, that already gives you some credibility. So I hope that everyone was able to do that. The other thing that you probably notice across the top is that you have a sandbox. And so the sandbox is the next place, and it's probably red. So the next step is to spend some time working in the sandbox. I've got a bunch of stuff in mind because I had some notes about a page that I wanted to create, and I will at some point. But you can use this as your personal sandbox to do any kind of fooling around. You can create a draft there if you want to create a draft of a new article and get it all ready and set to go. And then you can actually move the whole thing into the article space. So that's a great way of doing it. But if you want to right now, you can start a new sandbox page and you can just use it to try out a few things. So what I'm going to show you right now, let's look at what I'm going to do is show you the difference between forms, and then we're going to try out a few basic skills that you'll need to know to edit other articles. There are two forms of editing. The one that I just showed you just now is called the visual editor. And this is probably what you'll use most of the time. And it is a very easy way of doing editing. It's basically a WYSIWYG, or what you see is what you get type of editing. Really pretty simple editing. You have the choice of different just basic bold or italic text styles. You can create links either within Wikipedia or outside of Wikipedia. Within the text of an article, you should always be linking inside of Wikipedia, but at those external links at the bottom of an article, those are external to Wikipedia. So you should never be creating an external link within the body of an article. Then another really important skill would be creating a citation. So let's try that out. Why don't you just write some a sentence, very simple sentence. You can copy and paste it from somewhere. You can do the over. No, it's the red fox, right? Okay, so you've got a sentence, and then, so let's say you want to cite part of that. So I've got an important book that I'd like to cite. So what I would recommend that you do is go to worldcat.org. Now, most of our institutions would have an institutional version of WorldCat, but don't use that, use worldcat.org, because the Wikipedia is an open resource. It's open to everyone in the world. We want to make sure that we're not doing any institutional branding. So go to worldcat.org, and what I want to look up is how to be a racist. Anti-racist by Kendi X. It's Ibram. Okay, so this is it. So if I look up the book here in WorldCat, and the piece of information that I really need to know is, it is the permalink right here. So I get that, and I copy it. And then I'm going to go back to, So I'm trying to move all of these different things out of the way. And I'm going back to my Wikipedia article. I've highlighted the words that I want to cite, and I go up to cite, and then I'm going to go to the automatic citation, and I just pop in that URL that I copied from WorldCat, and I'm going to generate the citation. And then I can insert it. If I want to, I can go and edit it, and I can put in the pages and apply the changes, and then that will be there. Now, it won't show up at the bottom of the page until I publish the changes. But it's there, it's definitely there. And let me just show you, I can go to publish changes, and I can review my changes if I want to. Let me just publish these. And then it will show up, it'll show up at the very bottom, see right down here. There we go. All right, so does everyone want to try that out? So you go to worldcat.org. Another thing that would work is if you went to Amazon and you could just you go down to the product details and grab the ISBN, and you can pop that in too. Instead of that URL, you could pop in the ISBN. Or maybe you got that from a publisher website. That would also work. So how are we doing? Okay. All right, I'm trying to make sure everyone is, so make sure there aren't any questions. Okay, let's see. Does anyone have any questions? Marcia has a question.
I was just glad you asked if people had questions, because I was going to put it in the chat box, but I'm glad that you initiated that rather than me.
All right. So let's look one more time at the citing, because citations are super, super important for us as academics, because we have access to fantastic information and a lot of people don't. So it's really important for us to be able to share that information with others. Actually I need to go into editing, don't I? Let's look at the citing. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could go into the manual mode and you can do a cited journal, and then you would just put in the information manually. And this could be either a print journal or an electronic journal. And right now, of course, we have access to all that HathiTrust material. So all of those would technically be considered print, right? The in copyright HathiTrust materials. even though we're getting access to them electronically, you can go through HathiTrust, and you would be considering those to be print materials. And do not put those in as URLs. Definitely don't if you're getting to if it's in copyright HathiTrust materials. Then let's see. So that would be a journal. You could also do, if there's an electronic journal online like New York Times or something like that, that would be in here. You can also put all kinds of other, there's 124 different fields. So sometimes you'll come across all kinds of interesting information that doesn't quite fit into those very basic fields. Okay, so that's citations, and I also wanted to show you that we have a guide that we've created for people at Cornell, but you're welcome to use it too. And it's managed by my colleague, Selena Bryant. And there's lots of really great, let's see if I can put that in the chat window. Yes, there we go. There's lots of really good links in here to information and resources. And I also wanted to encourage you to look through your library resources for biographical resources. We have, at Cornell, we have a whole section on biography. If I can find, I think it's in the general section, but a lot of those are, yeah, here we go. So a lot of these biographies are really great to use as resources for citing in, they will help you meet notability guidelines for Wikipedia, but they are almost all licensed, so they're all behind paywalls, and your own libraries will allow you to get in. So I definitely recommend looking in those resources. So we have American National Biography. See, there are lots of these that are online that are easily accessible. Okay, enough on that. Let's get back to some of the other things to look out for. So up here we have editing, the visual editor, and we also have edit source. So when you, there are certain pages that do not allow the visual editor, they only allow editing source. And that is all in code, which can be a little bit intimidating if you've never seen that before. It's very similar to HTML, if that's something you've worked with before. It's even simpler. Just remember that you have this key up here that is there to help you. So if you wanted to, say, take this and make a link, you're still using the same trigger, and then it's usually takes a little bit more time to think it through, but the cues are usually there. And did I insert that? Insert to insert link. Yes. Well, it didn't come up. Okay. And one of the things that I told you about before was when you are on a talk page. So the talk page let me just go to that, because a talk page is always in code. It does not allow you to use the visual editor. So you're always gonna, if you're gonna engage in a talk page, you have to engage it with it in code. And the thing that you always need to do after you've written something on a talk page is to sign it. And the way you do that is by writing 4 tildes in a row. And you can, what you can do is to show the preview. And as you can see right here, written something on a talk page, and then you can see my username and the timestamp. So the 4 tildes in the row is what you do to sign something. I'm not going to save that because it's not really real, but that is what you would do. Okay, but you probably won't have to use code very often. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about is to look at the program page that we have. And again, I'm going to put in the link in the chat so that you can go take a look at that if you like. And I just want to point out some of the resources here that you can use when you are editing. So there are lots of links to help within Wikipedia. There's so much material there to help. Definitely use your sandbox to try things out. In terms of finding something to work on. A lot of people ask about that. Here's a list of lots of different categories of existing articles. So there's just lots of material there to start working on, but also I'm going to scroll back up to the top. There is a list of articles that it says available articles here. These are articles that people have suggested. Lots and lots that other editors have suggested are good articles that need help, that they are suggesting for all of us to work on. So there is just so much great material already, just ready and waiting. Plenty of stuff to work on. To get back to the homepage of the program site, there are PDFs here and also lots of tutorials. So this is for further help. Tomorrow we're going to also have drop-in help throughout the day. Julia, how are people going to know how to get that?
I have already, I think everyone who signed up got an email from me by now that had, first of all, the sign up link for this session, but also a link for the Zoom call tomorrow that is going to be the drop-in hours. And those are between at least 8 a.m. through 8 p.m. We have multiple volunteers who signed up to do that. And if there's too many people coming in, we can also break you out in smaller rooms and things like that. So please don't hesitate to come in, even if you have small questions. We hope to help you all.
All right. Okay. So lots of ways to get help there. Any let me go back to almost any article can be edited. I'm going to go back to Skip Gates. So almost any article can be edited. His can be edited. I did notice that Toni Morrison is one of the articles that I follow. So when you want to follow one, you just star it and it will show up in your watch list. So here's a watch list. Here's my watch list. I already have 114 pages. When it's in your watch list, you can just, when you log on, you can automatically go to your watch list, and there are the ones that you're following will show up there. But I noticed that Toni Morrison's page, there's so much activity on it that there is measure that only editors who have done so many edits, in other words, they're sort of trusted, are allowed to edit on this page. But most pages are open for anyone to edit just by clicking there. So you can feel very confident and go in and be bold, as they say in Wikipedia, and go in and edit the pages that you're interested in editing, and to bring the information that you find in the academic sources that you are using, and to add them. Yeah, okay. So questions? Is anyone having problems?
Some comments that people don't have questions, which is a good sign.
No
It's
question.
very clear, Suzette.
Okay, all right. And know we will be on. Know that we will be available on a drop-in basis tomorrow from, is it 9 to 9, something like that?
8 to 8 at least.
8 to 8. 8 to 8. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well.
Yeah. Feel free to reach out if any questions come up. And thank you.
Okay. Let me go back here and see if there's anything else. And then, yes, there's also, right. Okay, let me just make sure. Let me put the live help. There's also live help from Wikipedia. Let me grab that. Let me grab that and put that into the help. So this is live chat help from Wikipedia. And that is super helpful too. And then feel free to email me and to use our guide. And I look forward to seeing the work that you do on Wikipedia in the coming week. That'll be wonderful. Thank you so much for coming today, and to Julia for organizing this event tomorrow.
Thank you, Suzette, for putting this together. This was really helpful. Thanks everyone for coming.